a small space here this afternoon. Please be seated. I will take now this opportunity to call on the coordinator of the DBS Radio Ministry of Education Sports Reading Competition. I said sports. Reading Competition, Ms. Kimaro Ito, to officially welcome us here this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to, actually, Millie, it's the third day of our competition here of the 2021 DBS Radio Ministry of Education National Reading Competition. We welcome you on this third competition in the first leg. Let me say good afternoon to the judges who are here. Our 8 students will be competing this afternoon in 3 rounds. Fellow supporters, parents, teachers, and of course our listeners on DBS Radio and our viewers on our Facebook and YouTube page. We say good afternoon to you. Welcome as we continue the drive in search of the winner for the 2021 DBS Radio Ministry of Education National Reading Competition. We have had 2 competitions thus far and they are going well. Of course, this year, as I've mentioned before, that the reading competition is held in for 2 reasons. It is our 50th anniversary, and it's a great way to celebrate DBS's anniversary with the annual reading competition. We all know that last year we did not have a competition due to the COVID-19, and hence the reason why most of you here this afternoon are wearing your mask as we continue to adhere to the COVID-19 protocols. Also, we are doing this in commemoration of the late Felix Henderson as we continue to read for Felix. It was a brainchild of Felix. It was hence the reason why the need to ensure that reading is taken seriously, not just in the schools and just at home, but as a family. So we're all looking forward to reading as a family. And of course, we're looking forward to this competition. I do want to wish all the students here, the 8 students here today, all the best. You will be competing in 3 rounds of competition. And maybe as I'm here, I'll just go through the rules of the competition just to speed up things. The competition is open to grades 3, 4, and 5 students who would not have reached 10 years of age by November 1, 2021. Students will be judged based on the attached rubric that I will be reading for you afterwards. There will be 3 rounds of competition. During each round, the student will be expected to read a narrative, a news item, and for this year we have added a sports item. It is important that you understand that the top 30 students from the round 1 will advance to round 2. The top 30 will be determined by overall score and will be announced at the end of the round after all 6 groups have participated. So at the end of round 1, where all schools have participated, we'll be selecting the top 30 students to advance to round 2. So that will be based on their score. So today, what will be announced today will be the top 5 readers for the day. Not that they will be, mandated to come to be in the round 2. It's based on their scores. The top 18 students from round 2 will advance to the semi-final round after all 3 groups have completed, and the top 10 students from round 3 will advance to the finals. So these are the rules for the competition this year. Let me just read out the rubric as to what our judges, and you'll be hearing Amelia introducing our judges pretty soon, but let me just let you know what the judges will be looking for in the 3 rounds of competition. Were all words read accurately? Were phrases read effectively as one unit? Was punctuation interpreted correctly? Were all words pronounced distinctly? Were key words emphasized? Was mood or feeling conveyed effectively? Was volume used effectively? Was pitch used effectively? Was the selection read at an appropriate rate for audience and purpose? And did the student appear relaxed, confident, and able to recover quickly if a mistake was made. So these are the things that our judges, our 3 judges, will be looking for this afternoon in 3 rounds of competition. Let me wish all 8 students all the best. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ito. I'm liking the song of that already. All right. Okay, so what we will do now, we will introduce to you the judges. For those of you who are in the audience here, towards your extreme left, we have Ms. Moonlight Nanthan, who is a learning support advisor at the Ministry of Education. Ms. Nanthan, make her feel welcome, please. Mrs. Nanthan. Center stage, we have Kathleen George Pinard, who is a teacher at the Maho Primary School. Let's make her feel welcome. You can call him our head judge. You've taken that role here this afternoon. Prince Saint-Jean, who is a librarian. Also, he works at the National Documentation Center. Let's make him feel welcome. And of course, you need to know our readers here this afternoon. We have 8 schools participating. So when I call, maybe she or he could stand and let the people see you. And again, we are live on Facebook. First off, our first reader will be Tiana Parilon from the Clifton Primary School. Thank you, Ms. Parilon. From the Coolibay Street Primary School, young Nathan John Baptist. From the Jubla Primary School, Kelani Stowe. From this very primary school, the Roosevelt Douglas Primary, Adele Leighton. From the St. John's Primary School, Tiara George. From the Paybush Primary School, Taraji Laville. From the Salisbury Primary School, Haley Bedno. And from the Savon Pie Primary School, that's Diva Gross. Thank you so much. We do want to commend the schools who are participating here this afternoon. We know the effort that you would have put in to make sure that this reading competition is possible. Normally we would have 10 students in each round, but unfortunately today we have 8 schools, and for a reason, whatever the reason might be, we have 2 schools dropping out here this afternoon. But we do pray that maybe in our next competition that we would have a representative from the Collyho and the Dodan Primary School. All right, so we're about to begin competition. Let me just ask on you, the audience, firstly, if you have your cell phone, please turn them off or put them on vibrate or silent. I also ask you that when the students are reading, that even if you feel you know they have made a mistake, do not make an attempt to correct them out loud. That happens all the time. I know sometimes we cannot resist the urge, but let's try our best to do so. Just to inform you that the students will be reading a narrative, a news item, and a sports item, each of which the judges will be able to follow. Again, I will say, a lot of times we're sitting in the audience, and those of you who might be listening, we think the students might be doing well. And we hope that they all do well. However, the judges will have the final say, because they will know whether or not the students would have skipped a line, missed any punctuation, and so on and so forth. All right? Bon après-midi encore tout le monde qui est là. Ça c'est compétition pour lui organisée par Radio DBS collaboration et puis Ministry pour Affaires Éducation qu'on nous a présenté au 4e jour en premier round compétition. Troisième non? Mon yon vitesse oui garçon après-midi. Oh troisième, it's only the third. All right, it feels really okay. I stand to be corrected. Troisième. Third round. It's a pleasure to be here once again. Thank God for the rain. It's cooling down things a little bit, so we appreciate that. All right, so we're moving straight into competition. Narrative round. from the Clifton Primary School. Let's welcome Tayana Parilon. All right, so for the listeners' sake, we just experienced a little glitch here, so we're just allowing things to get set for young Tayana, just so she could get comfortable, of course, so she could begin reading her narrative. It's a pleasure to have all of you tuned in. I know we have quite a bit of supporters of the reading competition. You know, when I pass around and people will be, where are you going next? Where are you going next? It's good to know that we have so much support. We want to say, of course, thank you to our many sponsors for coming on board with us, for making this reading competition possible as we read for Felix. All right, I believe young Parilo is ready. Once she gives us a thumbs up, maybe we could go ahead. But let me just say a special thank you to Foxy's Bread, APP Electricals, Jay's Bookstore, Central Cooperative Credit Union, National Bank of Dominica, the Aid Bank, the National Cooperative Credit Union, Auto Depot, West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, Crispies, the Granbury Cooperative Credit Union, OT Trucking, Springfield Trading, as agent for Cool Keats, Jungle Bay Resort, the Fort Young Hotel. All right. So let's ensure that young Tayana is ready so we could begin. Once you're ready, you could go ahead.
Donald was a nice boy except when he played games and then he cheated. Do you know anybody who cheats? They are such a nuisance, aren't they? Well, Donald cheated when he played cards, and he cheated when he played Ludo or Snakes and Ladders. He'd say he had a 6 when he hadn't. And he'd say that he'd shouted snap first when Simon or Tom and he'd take up the cards and put them with his pal. Donald, you're cheated, his mother would say. Donald, don't cheat, said the children. Games are no fun if somebody cheats. But Donald went on cheating, and his mother became very worried because you see, if a child cheats when he's little, he'll cheat, and when he's grown up, and that is very, very bad. And sooner or later, he'll cheat with. There comes a hard punishment. Still, the other children knew what to do, as you'll soon see. Look here, we simply must cure Donald, said Susan. He's such a nice boy, except at games. But we'll soon hate him if he keeps cheating, 'cause it's no fair. Yes, but what can we do? asked Tom. We've told him and told him. Telling isn't much good, said Ronnie. We must show him what cheating is really like. Now listen. Next time we play games with Donald, we'll all cheat. just to show him how it is. He won't like a beat. Every time we play with him, he'll cheat. He'll soon get very tired of it. But I don't want to cheat, said Susan, who was a very honest and truthful girl. I should feel uncomfortable inside if I did. And I should go very red too. Well, Susan, you won't be really cheating, explained Tom. It's just pretend. You know, we'll never do it after we've cured Donald. You can be quite sure if all right, said Susan. I'll try.
Thank you, Tiana. Tiana is 9 years of age. She is currently in grade 4. Her favorite subject is science. She enjoys reading and jumping ropes. Tiana would like to become a scientist. More so, she would like to become an astronaut. Let's wish her well. Give it up one more time for Tiana Parilon. So we're hearing the story of cheating. I'm not sure why there are so many games that are so simple, but yet still we cannot play fairly. Little snakes and ladders. How many of you play snakes and ladders? Nice, nice. How many of you jumped the snake while you were playing? I know that. Yes, that's cheating too, you know. That's cheating too. I guess nobody wants to lose. It's not a bad thing to not want to lose, but of course, especially when you're playing these games, we need to try to play them as fairly as we can. All right, so we're moving on to our next reader here this afternoon from the Culebrissery Primary School. Let's welcome Nathan John Baptist.
Those two cards weren't alike, cried Donald angrily, but it was too late. They were in Ronald's park. When there was a real snap, Donald shouted snap before the others. He was really first. But Susan calmly took up the cards and put them into her pack. Susan, you're a cheat. I was first, cried Donald and in a rage. Give me those cards. No, Donald, they're mine, said Susan, and she just wouldn't give them up. Then Tom shouted snap and picked up all Donald's cards at once. Donald made a grab at them, but it was too late. It wasn't snapped, he said, almost crying. You've taken all my cards. I haven't any left. You're not playing fair. Why, Donald, do you mind that? Said Susan in surprise. You never play fair yourself, do you? So why do we mind us playing the same way as you? I don't want to play cards if you're going to cheat, said Donald sulkily. Let's play snakes and ladders. So Ronnie got out the snakes and ladders board, and they each chose their counters. You know snakes and ladders, don't you? If If your counter happens to go on the head of a snake, you have to slide down it right to the tail. And if you get at the bottom of a ladder, you may go right up to the top. Of course, it's very nice to get on a ladder and very horrid to go down a snake. You can guess that Donald found plenty of ways to cheat at snakes and ladders. He always counted along the squares, so when he came to a ladder and went up it, and always counted along the squares, so when he came to a ladder, he never went down a snake. But this time the others cheated too. Tom went up the ladder. Tom went up the very first ladder. He came to. Really? He needed 5 to go up. And he had only thrown a 4. Donald was very cross. You can go up that ladder, he said. You threw a 4. Certainly not, said Tom. I shall stay at the top. Then Susan cheated. She should have gone down a snake, but she didn't. She hopped over its head to the next square. Donald glared at her.
All right, and that was Nathan John Baptist from the Coolibistry Primary School. Yes, I guess for those of you, the little ones who are here, who would like to play a game of snakes and ladders or snap, whatever it is, that you would try your utmost to be as fair as you particularly can. For some reason, there's always a crybaby in any sport, eh? There is always one that just wants to win and doesn't want to put in the effort. There is always one like that. Nathan John Baptist is 9 years of age. He's in grade 4. His favorite subject is the English language. He enjoys playing football, as a matter of fact. He loves all sports. He would like to become a mechanic. He said he is taking the model from his dad, who is currently a mechanic. I sat earlier with young Nathan just to find out why is it that he wanted to be a mechanic. Again, he said his dad. So I triggered him a little further just to ask him, about new parts of a vehicle. He mentioned the radiator. I said, the radiator. I said, what does the radiator do? He says, it takes in water to prevent the vehicle from overheating. So he's already on par to becoming a mechanic. Give it up for Nathan John Baptist. All right, our third reader here this afternoon is from the Jubilee Primary School, Kelani Stowe. Let's make him feel welcome.
Susan, you know you should have gone down that snake. Go down at once. No, I'm on the next square, said Susan. Well, you shouldn't be. You should have stopped on that snake's head and gone all the way down, said Donald. You know, Donald was so busy scolding the others for cheating that he quite forgot to cheat himself. But when Ronnie cried out that he'd beaten them all, Donald was very angry indeed. You haven't won, he shouted to Ronnie. You didn't get the right number to go to the end. You should be there. And he moved Ronnie's counter backwards. No, I've won. I've won, and you're last, cried Ronnie. Donald banged on the board and upset all the counters. They rolled over the floor. I shan't play snakes and ladders anymore with you if you cheat like this, he cried. It isn't any fun. Well, let's play hide and seek, said Tom. Getting up. I'll hide my eyes first and count 100. Call cooey when you're ready. Donald loved to hide and seek. He was very good at finding splendid places to hide. "I know a jolly good place," he said, and ran off. "I'm going to peep," said Tom. Donald is beginning to find that cheating isn't all pleasant when other people do it, and he won't like it if all his fine hiding places are found at once. So Tom peeped, and he saw that Donald was squeezing himself behind the woodshed, which was really a very good place to hide indeed. "You're peeping! You're peeping!" shouted Donald angrily. "It isn't fair! I shall hide somewhere else." Tom counted out loud. 75, 76, 77, 78, and he peered to see where Donald was going this time. He saw him running into the raspberry canes. 100! shouted Tom. The others all cooed, and Tom ran to find them. He ran straight to the raspberry canes and caught Donald. "Tom, you cheated! I saw you peeping!" cried Donald. He was beginning to feel very much puzzled at everyone's behavior. It wasn't like the other children to cheat. Why? They kept winning and he kept losing.
All right, thank you so much, Kelani Stowe. Maybe Donald has a problem and he has not noticed that he has a problem. Whoso never likes so. And that seems to be the story here with Donald. He wants to cheat but doesn't want to be cheated. But you know, sometimes you do something so often that you think somebody else doing it to you, right? And that is the case here with Donald, from what it seems. This was Kelani Stowe, 9 years of age. He's in grade 4. His favorite subject is mathematics. He enjoys playing video games. He too would like to become an astronaut. As a matter of fact, young Stowe says he'd like to discover new life somewhere on a different planet. I decided, let me trigger him a little bit. So I said to him, if you were to discover life on Saturn, what would you do? He said, Miss, Saturn is a gas giant. There's no life on Saturn. So you know, he knows his stuff already. Let's wish him well. Let's give it up for him one more time, Kelani Stowe. All right, so we're moving on nicely to our fourth participant from this very primary school, the Roosevelt Douglas Primary, Adele Leighton.
It was dreadful, and now Tom had peeped, and he saw and he was caught. I won't hide my eyes, he said sulkily. You peeped and saw where I went. Well, I'll hide my eyes then, said Ronnie with a grin at the others. So off he went and began to count 100. He had his hand over his eyes, but he peeped between his fingers to see where Donald went. He saw him dodge behind the greenhouse. Coo-ee, shouted everyone. Ronnie set off to find them and ran behind the greenhouse at once. He caught Donald, of course, and he held him tightly. Ronnie, you peeped between your fingers and saw where I went, said Donald. It's no fun playing when people cheat. I shan't play. Well, would you like to play by yourself? Asked Susan, running up. We can play without you. And he shan't cheat And we shan't cheat either when we play just by ourselves. I don't want to play by myself, said Ronald, almost in tears. I want to play with you. But I don't want you to cheat. Nobody can win or lose properly if you cheat. Do you really think that? Asked Tom. Well, Donald, we think that too. A cheat spoils all the fun of the game. But you cheat, so we think that whenever we play with you, we'll cheat too. We thought perhaps you'd like us to cheat. You'd like us all to cheat. Well, I don't, said Donald, rubbing his eyes hard. I hate it. It gives me a nasty sort of feeling. You aren't nice when you cheat. Neither are you, said Susan. In fact, you're horrid, Donald. Well, we'll give you a neither. We'll give you a neither are you. Well, we'll give you a chance. We'll play fair if you will. But if you cheat, we shall. We shall never cheat with anybody else, but we think that cheats should be treated differently. So if you start being a cheat again, you'll find that you can only play with cheats and you won't like that. No, I shan't, said Donald. I won't cheat again. Until you did it to me, I didn't really know how horrid it felt. Will you trust me and play fair? Of course we will. Don't look so worried. We aren't really cheats. We just made up this little plan to cure you and to make you nice. Well, it did cure Donald.
All right, thank you so much, Adele Leighton. It says a cheat spoils all the fun in the game. You agree? Yes, a cheat spoils all the fun. Actually, they changed the whole thing of the game, you know. When you see somebody, and we said cheat in the story, and of course we have to go with the English term. Mind over the cheat. Uka vole garçon, let's vole man. And even in the everyday dubbing that I play regularly, not even that, and I think it takes away the challenge of the game. Nobody wants to use their brain anymore, especially when there's a game that has to use a lot of your mind work. Nobody wants to use their brain anymore. Everybody wants to just coupe clou and voler. But we have to play fairly. Yes? All right, so that was young Adele Leighton, 9 years of age. She's in grade 4. Her favorite subject is mathematics and spelling. She enjoys spending time with her family, reading and studying. She would like to become a doctor. As a matter of fact, she says frequently she practices on her own mother. Every time my mom has a cough, she runs to give her medicine. She knows her aunt also, who is a doctor. Let's give it up for Adele Leighton. All right, so our next participant is from the St. John's Primary School, Tiara George.
There was once a boy who was very untidy. His name was William, and his mother was always scolding him for being so untidy. "You never put anything away, William," she would say. "You leave your shoes out, you leave your cap on the floor, you throw your coat down. It's simply dreadful." "Sorry, Mother," said William cheerfully. "You are not sorry," said his mother. "If you were, you would try to be better. I am always clearing up after you, and yet you never try to help me." "Well, I will try," said William. So the next day he really tried. He hung up his cap on the peg, and he put his shoe in the cupboard. Gracious, he did feel good. He went upstairs. He opened the desk he had there to find the pencil. He couldn't find it, so he scrubbed about in the desk just as if he were a dog scratching in the ground for a hidden bone. And, of course, everything went flying out of his desk onto the floor. Did William pick them up? Of course not. He hadn't he hung up his cap on the peg and put his shoes away in the cupboard? Well, that was tidiness enough for one day. As far as William was concerned, his mother never came in to speak to him and saw the untidy mess in his room. William, I thought you were going to try and be really tidy today, she said. And you seem to be worse than ever. Well, Mother, I like that, said William. Didn't you see how I had hung up my cap on its peg and put my shoes away in the cupboard? I do think you might have noticed that. William, I don't know what I would do with you, said his mother. William sat and thought for a minute. Then he got up. I've often read in stories that people can get spells from fairy folk to put things right when they are untidy and untruthful or greedy. He thought, I've a good mind to go to old Dame Goody and ask her if she knows of one to keep me tidy.
All right, and that was Tiara George. I wonder if all them goodies are super young boy. I mean, if you have a child that's untidy, it would mean that the child is very bad to have to look for a spell to fix that child. Messieurs, they say cleanliness is close to godliness. What is untidiness? Tiara George is 9 years. She is in grade 4. Her favorite subject is mathematics and spelling. She enjoys writing, singing, dancing, and reading. Tiara would like to become a teacher. Tiara said to me, since she was 1 year, she knew she wanted to become a teacher. I said, Tiara, 1 year? She told me, yes, 1 year. I said, do you remember one? She said, yes. She said she remembered when she was 1 year old, her mother would start telling her, stop writing on the board. And so she knew from then on she would become a teacher. As a matter of fact, her mom too is a past teacher. Give it up for Tiara George. All right, and so we move to Pebush. From the Pebush Primary School, let's welcome Tiraji Laville.
He put on his outdoor things and went up the hill to where old Dame Goody lived. She was a funny little old lady, and she had most peculiar eyes. Sometimes they looked green and sometimes they looked green. That was because her grandmother had been first cousin to a fairy. Well, Dame Goody was surprised to see William, for usually the children were rather afraid of her, though she was a kind old lady who wouldn't have hurt anybody for anything. Good morning, Dame Goody, said William. I expect you know that I'm awfully untidy, don't you? Well, I can see it, said the old woman. looking down at William's shoes, which were both undone, and at his coat, which had the button done on wrongly. Do you think you could possibly give me a spell to make me tidy without my mother bothering much about it? Asked William. I would so much like one. I could pay you for it. I've got 50 pence in my money box. Well, I believe I have got an old spell tucked away somewhere that my grandmother had by her, said Dame Goody, her eyes suddenly looking very green. And if it would do for a tidy spell, you can have it for 50 pence. She went off into the back room, and William heard her hunting in drawers for the old spell. At last she came back, smiling. She held a funny little tin in her hand. It was bright blue, and at the top it had a head instead of a lid. I found the spell, said Dame Goody. I'll scatter it over you, and you will then find that your things will all be terribly tidy. But I want to be tidy, said William. Not my things. Well, it's easier to make your things tidy than you, said Dame Goody. Now stand still, please. William stood still. Dame Goody took off the funny little wooden head that was on the top of the tin instead of a lid, and scattered a blue powder all over William. I feel as if you are peppering me, said William, beginning to sneeze.
All right, and that was Tiraji Laville from the Pebbush Primary School. Anybody from Portsmouth here? Anybody from Portsmouth? Portsmouth, anybody from Portsmouth? Nobody from Portsmouth in the audience? Wow. But I think every village had a Dame Goody, not true? Yes, every village had a Dame Goody. But I think Granby had more than one. Yeah, Granby had more than one. And the good thing about it is they have all gone to the great beyond, which is the good thing for us. All right, Tiraji, I can say that. I don't follow me and say that. Tiraji Laville is 8 years of age and she is in grade 3. Her favorite subject is mathematics. She enjoys playing games. She would like to become a hairdresser. She is fascinated by playing in hair. However, her mom didn't trust her enough to come here this afternoon. However, she says her grandmother is her living doll. So she's practicing on her grandmother. One more time for Tiraji Laville. All right, our next participant is from the Salisbury Primary School. Let's welcome Haley Bedno.
Dame Goody muttered a string of magic words that sounded very strange to William. Then she clapped the lid onto the tin and nodded her head at him. The spell will work tomorrow morning, she said. I hope it's all right. It's rather old. You see, it may have gone a bit wrong. What should it do? Asked William. Well, it should make anything belonging to you put itself neatly away, said Dame Goody. Your pencils should put themselves away in the box. Your clothes should fold themselves up neatly when you take them off, and put themselves on a chair or away in a drawer. That sounds marvelous, said William, pleased. Thank you, Dame Goody. I shall now be known as the tidiest boy in the country. He went off, smiling, wishing that the next day would come quickly. It came. William awoke, dressed himself, and then threw down his pajamas on the floor on purpose to see if the spell was working. And do you know, those pajamas solemnly got up, folding themselves neatly, and put themselves into the pajama case on the bed. It was most extraordinary to watch them. This is great, thought William, simply great. He threw his toothbrush on the floor. It at once flew up into the air and settled itself calmly into the tooth mug. William was very pleased indeed. He went downstairs in good time for breakfast. His father was there, reading the newspaper, and he looked up as William came in. "Hello, son," he said, and then buried himself behind the paper again. "Sit down and get on with your porridge," his mother called from the kitchen. "I'm just getting the bacon and eggs." William sat down. He was just about to put sugar on his porridge when something most peculiar happened. His shoes came off and his socks unpeeled from his legs. William looked down in astonishment. Whatever could be happening? To his enormous surprise, he saw his shoe hopping neatly together over the floor. They went out of the door and he heard them going to the hall cupboard.
All right. Haley Bedno. This song's so good and exciting, huh? But mon avertizo, pas vos enfants côté pièce, Dame Goody. Teach your children to pray instead, Father. Of course, we have to practice them, teach them how it is to be tidy, how to pick. And it starts very early, eh? Even in the preschool, clean up, everybody clean up. That's the way you get to be tidy and to clean up after yourself. I'm sure we cannot all have a Dame Goody, but it will be good to know what happens after all of that. Haley Bedno is 9 years. She is in grade 4. Her favorite subject is the English language or language arts. She enjoys singing and reading. Haley would like to dance or become a choreographer. She always danced. As a matter of fact, I spoke to, and if you notice, she was reading, and she has this thing. And when she speaks, so she's like, I just love the feeling of dancing, the passion it brings. This is young Haley Bedno. Give it up for her one more time. All right, and our final reader for this afternoon in this reading of the narrative round from the Savant Pie Primary. Let's welcome Diva Gross. Is that it right?
His socks rolled themselves into a neat ball, and then bowled themselves out of the door too. They went upstairs and put themselves into a drawer. Then William's jacket took itself off William and flew away to hang itself up. His shirt and tie came off and his shorts. They all folded themselves up very neatly indeed and went upstairs to put themselves away. And there was William sitting at the breakfast table in his vest. Simply didn't know what to do. My goodness, the spell has gone wrong, he thought in dismay. Instead of waiting until I was untidy, my things have put themselves away now. I'd better creep upstairs before anyone sees me and dress again. Well, William was just about to creep away when his mother came into the room with bacon and eggs.
She saw William sitting at the table in his vest, and she almost dropped the dish in amazement. William, why haven't you dressed? Don't you know that you're only in your vest? Really, is this the way to come down to breakfast? What in the world are you thinking of? Daddy looked up in surprise. How he started when he saw Paul William in nothing but his vest. Is this a joke? He asked. Because if so, don't think it is all amusing. Boys who come down in their vest ought to be punished. William fell upstairs. Goodness, this was dreadful. He didn't like it at all. William found his things in the drawers in the cupboards and dressed himself again. He tied his shoelaces firmly in a knot in case his shoes thought of hopping off again. It would be simply dreadful if they all came off again, he thought. I really don't know what Daddy would say. Well, nothing happened at breakfast time except that a spoon which William dropped hopped up to the table again on its own and put itself neatly by William's plate. Now that's good, thought William. That's the sort of thing that I want the spell for. If only it goes on working like that, it will be fine.
All right. And that was young Diva Gross from the Southern Pie Primary. She is 9 years of age in grade 3. She enjoys reading. Her favorite subject is mathematics, and she would like to become a doctor in order to help people get better. Let's give it up for them in this first round, the narrative round. We'll allow our judges a quick minute to tabulate the scores for this first round. Comment des autres qui aiment Creole? Vous aimez Creole? Ou aimez Creole plus facilement? Ou pas quoi? Ou pas ça aimez Creole plus facilement? All right, so while we allow the students to go through their reading material, let me just give you a little something here in Creole. Creole c'est une langue qui n'est pas wall. Powell, Powerball, Powell, Pamol. Powell Enitil, Powell Champlain, Powell Coulien, Powell Pétéchen, Powell Flatter, Powell Maté, Powell Abébé, Powell Zézé, Powell Piment, Powell Volcan, Powell Pétéfiel, Powell Ciel, Powell Kidou, Powell Sibomiel, Powell Doudou, Powell Kibel, Powell Koyol, toute qualité, Powell. All right, so our students have been given their reading item that is for the news round. They will be assisted by Kimara Ito and Anadil Jacob as they go through their reading material to ensure or to clarify any difficulty that they would have had. They will be assisted again by Kimara Ito and Anadil Jacob. Let me just take this opportunity to say thank you to our many sponsors for coming on board with us here this afternoon in the DBS Radio Reading Competition. Let's say thank you to the Signman, Ocean View, Earth Dream Car Rentals, AC Shillingford and Company Limited, Garaway Enterprises, Carlton Philip Motorpool, the Fort Young Hotel, Jungle Bay Resort, Springfield Trading, Agents for Cool Kids, OT Trucking, the Grand Bay Cooperative Credit Union, Crispies, the West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, Auto Depot, National Cooperative Credit Union, the Aid Bank, the National Bank of Dominica, the Central Cooperative Credit Union, Jay's Bookstore, APP Electrical, and Foxy Bread. Thank you so much to all our sponsors. Again, we do appreciate your collaboration in this effort as we continue to keep reading alive here in Dominica, particularly among the young ones. Thank you so much. I will take the opportunity in just a little while, if you allow me. All right. So while our students read, let me see how much I can get. Those of you in, I know, ordinary comment, not true? Those of you in the audience, let me see how much I can get you involved. Again, thank you for those of you who are tuned in on the our DBS Facebook page. It's a pleasure to have you. This is, and YouTube as well. This is our this is day 3 of the first round of competition. Remember, the top 3 will be, the top 30 will be chosen to move to the next round. And they will be chosen based on their scores, not based on what you thought or what you thought you heard. They will be chosen based on their performance at the end of round 1. 30 will move to the next round. From there, we'll choose 18, and you know, there's a choosing thing from every round. So we just want to wish each of the children well. It seems their 2 minutes is up as the reading material is taken from them, so we can move into our next round, which is the reading of the news. Each student will be reading a news item that was prepared by the DBS news desk. News that you probably would have heard already on DBS radio. I will say it again, the nation station DBS radio present only factual news. The best news agency in not only in Dominica, the OECS, but I believe the rest of the world. I will say that. Moke Disa. So whatever it is that is being read here this afternoon is factual news. Let me take this opportunity again to touch base with the folks at the DBS news desk, led by Curtis Matthew, our news editor. Delma Semper, good afternoon to you. Lila Langford, Jaya Pending, good afternoon. The students will also be reading a sports item that will be in the 3rd round. When we get to that bridge, we will cross it. Let me just get a little heads from our judges to see if they're ready for round 2. The students, the material have already been taken from them. We're just allowing them to just maybe see if they can recap what they read and how thoroughly they will read in the next round. Our judges, are we ready? Okay, so we will give our judges another minute. If I come to you, it might take more than a minute, so I will just stay up here and talk. At DBS Radio, we are now celebrating 50 years as an institution, and again, we pride ourselves in what we do as we continue to inform you, educate you, and entertain you. For 50 years, we hope to do it for another 50 or even another 100 years. So this is our 50th anniversary as we continue to celebrate as an institution. So maybe you, the town of Portsmouth, can join us sometime in a celebration. Yes? Or do you want to celebrate with us? Thank you for that. We appreciate it. All right, so we are moving into round 2 of day 3. Again, the reading of the news item. Let me say thank you to our technician on duty, Mr. Dean Thomas, our media personnel led by Median Packet, assisted by Marcus Emmanuel. Thank you so much for allowing our viewers, both on YouTube and Facebook, to follow these proceedings, and of course for listeners to be able to hear this broadcast clear and crisp. All right, so we are ready for round 2 here this afternoon. And so we ask on the first reader here from the Clifton Primary School to come back to what we would consider to be our news desk here this afternoon to present the news. She goes by the name of Tayana Parilon. Let's make her feel welcome again.
DBS News.
Grenada will start its COVID-19 vaccines next week. On Wednesday, Grenada received 1,000 doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. The vaccines were part of a shared gift negotiated with the government of India by the governments of Barbados and Dominica. Frontline workers in Grenada's Ministry of Health will be the first recipients of the vaccine. It will be followed by other seasonal workers, then people with underlying medical conditions.
All right, and that was Miss Tayana Parillo from the Clifton Primary School. Yes, Grenada, like many other countries in the Caribbean, received vaccine from India. And we would have heard that, with the spike of COVID in India some time ago, it will be good news now as they report a decrease in COVID cases in India as they prepare to reopen. So let's wish India well. And we know once places like India and all the, more developed countries can reduce their cases, that means a lot to us, the smaller countries. So let's see how things develop in India. All right, that was our first reader. So we move on to our second reader here this afternoon from the Coolibastry Primary School. Reading the news, let's welcome again Nathan John Baptist.
The Dominica Association.
DBS News.
The Dominica Association of Music Professionals called for easier access to financing for musicians and artists. The association's vice president, Michelle Henderson, says consideration must be given how the industry works when the decisions are being made on financing. She says there is a general agreement among members that access to financing must be more readily available. Henderson states it is concerning that there were no stimulus packages for the creative industry in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. She adds that moving forward, greater consideration should be given to musicians and artists.
All right, Nathan John Baptist from the Coolibastry Primary School, yes, the Association of Music Professionals. And we would have heard just recently that there was a stimulus package, if you want to call it that, for bus drivers. So there is a call, of course, for those who are in the creative industry. We want to, commend the likes of Michael Henderson and, of course, the Association for Music Professionals for, the work that they do in ensuring that we can, of course, have a body that represents musicians and artists here in Dominica. Kudos to you guys for forming that association. And we are moving on nicely as we head down to Dublin. We call on Kelani Stowe from the Dublin Primary School.
DBS News.
Dominica is expected to see an increase in Sahara dust from tomorrow. Acting Senior Met Officer Marshal Alexander says all necessary precautions should be taken. He says this is especially vital for people with respiratory conditions. The dust haze will also result in reduced visibility out to the sea. The dust is expected to affect Dominica from tomorrow into Sunday.
All right, thank you so much, Kelani Stowe from the Dublin Primary School. And again, that was a news piece that was presented in the DBS News some time ago. Let me just urge, the little ones who are here with us this afternoon to encourage or ask your mommy and daddy to ensure that you can listen to not only the news, but the weather report. That is indeed important. It's not only, I know a lot of times is when the 1st of June comes, everybody wants to listen to weather report. And when, the 30th of November comes, nobody wants to listen to weather report anymore. But it's important that we listen to the weather report daily, because there could always be a change in the weather pattern. At some time we hear about Sahara dust, we hear of everything that can, of course, not only affect you, but, the people who are at sea, the people who are in the air, whatever the case might be. So please listen to the weather report. Let me commend the folks down there at the Met Office. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Marshall Alexander. We call on Adele Later, once again from the Roosevelt Douglas Primary School.
DBS News.
The ongoing beautification and reforestation drive across Dominica has been highly praised. President of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Savary, has commended the works being undertaken under this program. The beautification and reforestation drive came about following the passage of Hurricane Maria in 2017. The President was part of a field tour with officials from the Ministry of Environment to the various nurseries on island. His Excellency Savary says it is a challenging task ahead, but significant progress has already been made.
All right, and that was Adele Later from the Roosevelt Douglas Primary. I too want to take this opportunity, to praise the beautification and reforestation drive going on here in Dominica through the many partners. I want to say you guys are doing a wonderful job. I know all you will agree with me that Dominica is prettier now. Not true? Yes. Dominique Bell. It's a bell who's have. May he please bell. And as we heard the story of Untidy earlier, Dominic pa Untidy yoko. Dominica is clean and beautiful. When you drive around the place, you can see how beautiful the countries are. Let me just say good afternoon to the folks in Calibishi. I think they claim that they are the most beautiful and cleanest community in Dominica. I leave it up to you to disagree, but that's what they say. Okay, they would have their reason for that. Yes, you don't agree? She doesn't agree. Calibishi. All right. So we move on to the St. John's Primary School. Let's welcome again Tiara George.
DBS News.
Martinique is helping St. Lucia in its battle against COVID-19. The French island territory is providing medical supplies among other assistance to St. Lucia. A physician from Martinique recently arrived in St. Lucia, along with medical supplies to assist that country's COVID-19 fight. According to the St. Lucia Ministry of Health, further aid be made available in the coming weeks. Medical practitioners from the Owen King EU Hospital will receive additional training on the management of COVID-19 from the Martinique medical team.
All right, and that was Tiara George from the St. John's Primary School. Yes, it's not only us here in Dominica who is fighting COVID. We have to say thank God that we would have heard the Minister of Health announcing yesterday that Dominica is now down to 0 cases. You heard that? You like to hear that, not true? What's that mean to you when you hear 0 cases? What? More freedom? And of course, I agree, more freedom. But we would have to continue doing what is it that we do to keep it at keep it at 0. Thank you, Midian. All right, so we're moving on to our next reader from the Pebush Primary School. Let's welcome again Tiraji Laville.
DBS News.
5 new health centers are set to open their doors in March. The facilities were constructed under a program between the government of Dominica and Montreal Management Company. Health Ministry Dr. Irving McIntyre made the announcement during the commissioning of a health and wellness facility in Mahout. The new health centers are located in Georgetown, Bellevue, Shippo, Vilcaz, Marigot, and Wesley. 6 other health facilities are being constructed and are nearing completion.
Tiraji Laville from the Pebush Primary School. Yes, you know, the days when you would go to, for those of you who would have experienced that, you would have gone to, you know, the health centers and you would have to stay outside because the health centers were so small. You'd have to go in very early to get your numbers. But now we are seeing new health centers being constructed and more to be constructed, in fact. And I'm telling you, there are some beautiful facilities. If you were to go to Bellevue, Vilcaz, and Marigot, for what I have seen, and we are seeing the likes of even Bagatelle are now getting a new health facility. All right, so we're moving on to Salisbury Primary. We call back again Haley Bedno.
DBS News.
The Creole Heartbeat magazine is this month hosting a short story competition for students aged 14 to 19. The competition is being held under the theme Life in Dominica. The magazine is partnering with the University of the West Indies to host the competition. Participants can win up to $500, a sponsorship by the Dominican Lotteries Commission. Owner of the Creole Heartbeat magazine, Leroy Wadix Charles, says the competition is aimed at reviving creative writing among students.
All right. That was Haley Bedno from the Salisbury Primary School. The Creole Heartbeat is aired every Wednesday on a DBS radio at 11 a.m. from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, hosted by Leroy Wadix Charles. Of course, that is his brainchild. We want to commend Leroy Wadix Charles, of course, for this initiative. And if you know Wadix, you will know what the likes of Creole means to him. Not only Creole, but the Dominican lifestyle altogether. So you would find if it's sports, be it health, be it education, be it featured on the Creole Heartbeat. And of course, if you get an opportunity to grab a magazine, please do so. All right, so our final reader here this afternoon from the Southern Pie Primary. Let's welcome again Diva Gross.
DBS News.
Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says he will not commit to a date for the reopening of the country's borders. The borders were closed in March 2020 to prevent the spread of COVID-19. People wishing to enter and leave Trinidad and Tobago have to apply to the government to receive permission to do so. Reports indicate that the reopening could come after the majority of Trinidad and Tobago's population have been vaccinated against COVID-19. It will also be based on the vaccination campaigns in some of the major world countries.
All right. From the 7-5 Primary, Diva Gross. All right, so we've come to the end of reading of the news item. So the students will again be given
the DBS radio
their reading material for round 3, which is the reading of the sports news. And that will come up shortly. However, I'll take this opportunity to acknowledge our sponsors.
DBS Radio, Ministry of Education, National Reading Competition is brought to listeners, complements the Central Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Own more shares, get more benefits. Let's grow our credit union together. National Bank of Dominica, your partner, your bank. National Cooperative Credit Union, one big family. Jay's Bookstore, your supplier for books, greeting cards and furniture. Carlton Phillips Motor Pool, drive in and get the world of vehicle parts. APP Electrical, we do better. OT Trucking, OT at your fingertips for safer trucking services. Springfield Trading Limited, quality is everything. LaFalle's Lab, quality and confidentiality. Auto Depot Limited, when you can't find it, we have got it. AC Shillingford and Company Limited, spend less, get more. Crispies, tasty. Aid Bank, fulfilling our role in the development of a resilient Dominica. West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, most credible choice. Fort Young Hotel, Ocean Edge, Garaway Enterprises, Jungle Bay Resort, the Grand Bay Cooperative Credit Union Limited, Fox's Bread Depot, The Signman, a business without a sign is a sign of no business. Fine Foods Distributors, the biggest distributors of the biggest brands. 50th Anniversary Radio DBS. We say a big thank you to all our sponsors. We are reading for Felix. We are reading. Reading makes us smart.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Luge, for allowing us to acknowledge our sponsors. All right, again, our students have been given their reading material, so we'll allow them 2 minutes to go through their reading material, and I will go ahead and maybe see how best I can test the brain of the little ones who are sitting here. I can see you supporting Roosevelt Douglas Primary. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm going to ask you a nice little riddle, and I'm going to ask everybody else to be as quiet as you possibly can for the sake of the ones who are going through their reading materials. You ready?
Yes, I
You
am.
like riddles?
Yeah.
You like riddles?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's see how this one works out for you. Why was the picture sent to jail? Okay, she's thinking. I mean, her eyes like going 360 in her head right now. So let me ask you the question again. Why was the picture sent to jail? You know, I'm going to give you a pass. You just tap your friend on her shoulder and say pass. Or you want to keep trying?
I'll keep trying.
Okay. How much time do I need to give you again? 1 minute, Udiwi. I mean, she didn't say that. Somebody else did. Okay. You think you know the answer? You think you know? Let me try. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine.
All right. Why was the picture sent to jail?
To see who the police wants.
Okay. At least she said something. But that's incorrect, honey. Let's try again. Why was the picture sent to jail?
Because it was illegal.
You know what I say when I say picture, right?
Yes.
Okay, that is incorrect. I'm coming. How are you?
Good.
Why was the picture sent to jail? If only beating your eyes would have helped you. Okay, let me try one more. How are you?
I'm fine.
What school are you from?
Pebbles Primary School.
Paybush Primary, so we're here to support Paybush. Tell us, why was the picture sent to jail? No, I'm giving you 1 second because this gentleman is putting up his hand, but I'm not trusting the person next to you. So, yeah, so I'm not coming. I'm sorry, honey. Next one, I'll come to you. You want to try again? Why was the picture sent to jail? Because it was framed. Yes, when you frame somebody, the person can go to jail, right? And so was the picture. The picture was framed. Okay? All right. I know it's a little ticklish. Once you're ready, just give me the heads up. You're ready? Another minute? Okay, let's try something else. That is her question, eh? Not any one of you here, just her. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
What school are you from? What school do you attend?
7 by primary.
Savon Pie Primary. So we're here to support Savon Pie. Here's a question for you. What starts with P and ends with E and has more than 1,000 letters? You know the funny thing is the adults here at their head bursting, you know. I'm going to skip you and let me try the person next to you because she seemed to be triggered by that one. Let's try. You want? Here's the question. What starts with P and ends with E and has more than 1,000 letters?
I don't know.
Anybody put up there when I'm going to them, you know? You don't know. Ma'am?
No clue.
No clue. Okay. Somebody knows? One of our readers know? I don't trust them at the back there. You don't know? Okay. What is that? Try. Think of the question. It starts with P and ends with E and has more than 1,000 letters. A post office. A post office. I know. So we are ready for round 2. Okay, 3 in fact. Reading of the sports news. You guys are good sport. From the Clifton Primary School in reading of the sports. We call back on Tayana Parilon.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
The sports division will kick off another sporting event this week. The secondary school's football tournament will commence on Wednesday. The tournament will be played in two age categories this season, the under 17 and under 20. The competition will kick off with the two matches in the under 20 division.
Right, and that was Sayana Parilon. Let me say good afternoon to our sports editor, Gavin Richards, who is currently out on sporting duties. Of course, our sports is being prepared mainly by Gavin Richards. And again, the sports item right here this afternoon would have made it at some point on our sports news, presented every morning at 6:20 a.m., 1:20 p.m., and at 6:20 p.m., 7:20, I'm sorry, in the morning, 1:20 in the afternoon, and 6:20 in the evening. All right, so we are moving on to the Coolibistry Primary School. We welcome one more time, for the final time this afternoon, Nathan John Baptist.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Portsmouth Secondary School are through to the finals of the secondary schools on the 20 girls basketball competition. They got past the Dominica Grammar School in the playoffs on Wednesday. Meantime, the Dominica State College boys will play the boys of the Northeast Comprehensive in the boys' playoff match. That match will be played on Thursday at the St. Joseph Hard Court.
All right, give it up one more time for Nathan John Baptist, representing the Coolibistry Primary School, and which is good. I mean, for the past while, I've been hearing the Portsmouth Secondary School doing well in sports, football, cricket, basketball, just name it. Even the girls, what's that? Netball too? She said, netball. All right, that's good. That's good. And I always commend, the schools for having these programs to ensure that sports remains alive. And even earlier when we came in, there was quite a bit of sporting activities taking place on Benjamin's Park, so we want to commend you guys for that. So we're moving on to reader number 3 from the Dubla Primary School. Let's welcome one more time Kelani Stowe.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Grand Bay girls are now are the new princesses of football at the primary school level. They outlasted the Grand Fund and Mount John combined primary schools to win the NBD 13 and under primary schools football tournament. Grand Bay Primary took the match 2-0 on penalty kicks, after the scores were tied at 0 at the end of regulation. The girls of the Cynical Primary secured third place with a win over the Roosevelt Douglas Primary School on penalty kicks.
All right, Mr. Stowe. So here we are in Portsmouth again. The Roosevelt Douglas Primary School. That's good. I mean, I always say when it comes to football, that whole idea of penalty kick is not, I mean, if you did not win, you did not win. I mean, to just have me stand in a goal and for you to kick on me is something else. I mean, play to win. But this is, of course, somebody needs to be a winner, so that is the rule of the sports. So we're moving on to the Roosevelt Douglas Primary School. Adele later.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Coach of the women's national football team, Albert Titt, believes the growing women's program is meeting its objectives. The program, which was initiated by the Dominica Football Association, is aimed at reviving women's football on Ireland. Coaches have been dispatched to several communities to work with the interested women. Titt says the program has generated positive responses.
All right. Adele Little from the Roosevelt Douglas Primary School. So we have women in all sports now, eh? So basically nobody can cut their variance, say that's not for women. We have women in all sports now, women in football, women in cricket, women in basketball, just name it. That sounds like a poem, not you? I know. All right, so we are moving on nicely as we are heading up to St. John's Primary School. Let's welcome one more time Tiara George.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
The sports division will stage the final round in the primary school's mini basketball festival tomorrow. The festival will be held at the St. Joseph Hart Court from 12:30 p.m. and will feature both boys and girls teams. 10 schools have qualified to participate in the girls division, while 12 schools will take part in the boys division. The schools qualified following the mini basketball festival at the district level.
All right. Tiara George from the St. John's Primary School. Just yesterday, we saw the opening of the netball competition and, of course, the official opening of the forecourt at the National Stadium. This event was yesterday. So again, we're seeing sports. Yeah, it's good, to have sports or sporting activities being so prominent here in the country. We appreciate that. We love it when we all can burst a sweat, as we say. So we are moving on to the Pebbush Primary School, Tiraje Laville, to read us a sports item.
nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
The Dominica Amateur Basketball Association has been given the green light to stage the 2021 nation season. With the absence of cash prizes for the winning teams, the association is still trying to settle its bet, which was incurred during the last nation season in 2017. Basketball clubs and teams have agreed to use the funds generated from these seasons to clear the bet. The 2021 season is set to get underway on the 12th of June.
All right. Tiraj Laville from the Paybush Primary, and we want to commend, of course, the Basketball Association and the players, of course, for making that decision. We know how it is, when you play, everybody want to play for something, but they've decided that they will play in the absence of cash prizes, so we will still see the 2021 basketball season being staged beginning on the 12th of June. And we move back to Salisbury. It's a Salisbury Primary School. Let's welcome one more time Haley Bedno.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
The Geneva playing field is set for major rehabilitation. The government of Dominica has been working with the Dominica Football Association to rehabilitate the playing field. The Geneva playing ground was destroyed during the passage of Tropical Storm Erica and later by Hurricane Maria. Minister for Sports, Rosalind Paul, says a contract of over $400,000 has been signed to repair the playing field.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Bedno. And yes, the Geneva playing field down in the community of Grand Bay suffered during Tropical Storm Erica and Hurricane Maria. But I'm happy to see that the playing field is being rehabilitated. I believe quite a bit of work has been done since the signing of the agreement to have the work done. So we're going to see, the Geneva playing field back in full form pretty soon. We've seen the hosting of many major games, sporting activities such as CONCACAF, as football, and many other major sporting events at the Geneva playing field. It would be good, of course, to see that field back in operation. So we're calling now on our final reader in this final round here this afternoon from the Southern Pipe Primary. One more time, let's welcome Diva Gross.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
The Dominica Cricket Association is taking steps to address the shortage of qualified coaches on island. The association is now embarking on a coaching program to boost the number of qualified coaches. 12 people have been identified to form part of the program in the first instance. The coaches program will get underway this Saturday.
All right, and that was Diva Gross from the Southern Pipe Primary. And that will be all as far as competition is concerned. Our students have read a narrative piece a news piece and a sports piece, which completes all 3 rounds for this afternoon. We'll allow our judges some time to tabulate the scores, as we will be presenting in just a short while our top readers for this afternoon. Remember, we will be selecting the top 30 in round 1. So I'll take this opportunity now to head back to Studio 1, and we'll be back with some remarks and the results. Oh.
Listeners, compliments the Central Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Own more shares, get more benefits. Let's grow our credit union together. National Bank of Dominica, your partner, your bank. National Cooperative Credit Union, one big family. The DBS Radio, Ministry of Education, National Reading Competition is brought to listeners. Compliments the Central Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Own more shares, get more benefits. Let's grow our credit union together. National Bank of Dominica, your partner, your bank. National Cooperative Credit Union, one big family. Jay's Bookstore, your supplier for books, greeting cards and furniture. Carlton Phillips Motor Pool, drive in and get the world of vehicle parts. APP Electrical, we do better. OT Trucking, OT at your fingertips for safer trucking services. Springfield Trading Limited, quality is everything. LaFalle's Lab, quality and confidentiality. Auto Depot Limited, when you can't find it, we have got it. AC Shillingford and Company Limited, spend less, get more. Crispies, tasty. 8 Bank, fulfilling our role in the development of a resilient Dominica. West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, most credible choice. Fort Young Hotel, Ocean Edge, Garaway Enterprises, Jungle Bay Resort, the Grand Bay Cooperative Credit Union Limited, Fox's Bread Depot, The Sign Man, a business without a sign is a sign of no business. Fine Foods Distributors, the biggest distributors of the biggest brands. 50th Anniversary Radio DBS. We say a big thank you to all our sponsors. We are reading for Felix. We are reading. Reading makes us smart. All our sponsors. We are reading for Felix. We are reading. Reading makes us smart.
pas envie d'arrêter un petit moment. Rien qui pour moi, et pas pour longtemps. Est-ce pas fait qu'arrêter la journée que j'avais chargé pour voir si en là, on laissait chier là. On est passé ouvert tous les jours et on nous raconterait toujours. Continue de jouer en jeu, pas jamais dit rien. Il fait qu'à brûler tout comme moi, et au cas sourire en silence, mais qu'à souffrir. Mais pourquoi toujours s'en foutre, chérie, alors qu'elle oublie, bon, nous dit chance. On peut toujours commencer à parler en petit tas, et moi d'accord, pour un petit moment. Won't you stop and take a little time out with me? Just take 5. Stop your busy day and take the time out to see if I'm alive. Though I'm going out of my way just so I can pass by each day, not a single word do we say. It's a pantomime, not a play. Still I know my eyes up to me. I feel tingles down to my feet.
Different feel, different sound. On a Monday afternoon, a little jazzy flavor. That's our very own Maxiana Smith of the Smith Brothers. Wow. A nice little collab here with Patrick himself. Take 5 classic. We are DBS, your nation station, celebrating 50 years in Dominica, and we were just listening to the reading competition, the third competition in this first round from the Roosevelt Douglas Primary in Portsmouth. Good afternoon to the friends in Portsmouth right now, the parents and teachers, the judges, the DBS team up there in the town of Portsmouth, and the good boys and girls representing their schools and doing their best. Live coverage of the reading competition is brought to you by the National Bank of Dominica, Carlton Phillip, Jay's Bookstore, the Grand Bay Cooperative Credit Union, West Coast Credit Union, Central Cooperative Credit Union, APP Electrical, Crispies, OT Trucking, 8 Bank, the NCCU Auto Depot Limited, Springfield Trading, Fort Young Hotel, Jungle Bay, AC Shillingford and Company, Garraway Enterprises, Ocean Edge, La Falaise Lab, Foxy's Bread Depot, and the Signman Limited. Just take 5, just take 5. It's been a wet Monday afternoon. I had to get in with my umbrella. Provided me with much needed shelter to get into the building here on Victoria Street. Always good to have an umbrella close by, you know. Should be in for some more showers here and there over the next few hours. Traffic accident under the Canefield Cliff along the highway there. We hope that those involved, you know, can receive much needed urgent medical attention. So I suppose that would have caused some delays heading up north to Canefield or perhaps down south into town. Drivers, do exercise caution, please. Best wishes to the drivers involved in this collision under the Canefield Cliff. We pray for their recovery. A nice little jazzy vibe, perhaps some green tea this afternoon. Cool and nice in the studios. Welcoming you to the Nature Isle Dominica from top of Jada. But before, let's just acknowledge some of our viewers on DBS YouTube page. Looking at the reading competition, Georgiana Charles and the folks in Martinique, Carlita Dupi, Jane Peter, good afternoon. Just wishing the students well, Ruth Dyer, T. Sarah Maria Etienne, Michael Etienne, and Pamela Baptist, Beverly Williams, who says very good reading from Salisbury participant, way to go. T. Sarah says, as a kindergarten teacher, this makes my heart glad. Excellent job, DBS. Hats off listening on from Dutch St. Martin. I'm just loving these activities. The students can relate to all what have been placed before them. Parents must encourage their child or children to listen to the news daily or as often as possible. A comment here and suggestion coming on our YouTube page. Thank you very much to all our viewers here on the Facebook and our listeners on DBS Radio. Anyway, welcome to my island, baby. Beautiful and green, yeah. Welcome to my island, baby. Well, life is a dream, yeah. Welcome to my island, baby. Beautiful and green, yeah. Welcome to my island, baby. See, when you get to smile,
Them man playing their domino. Ladies selling a potato, ripe banana. Children eating their calalo. When it's time to clean, we go by the river. Come join the fun. Hey, welcome to my island, baby. Beautiful and green, yeah. Welcome to my island, baby. Life is a dream, yeah. Welcome to my island, baby. So beautiful and green, yeah. Welcome to my island, baby.
Let me take you to the beach, ready jelly water sweet, and the sand is as black as my hair. We can cook a pot of food on 3 stone and wood. On this island we have no care. Let me take you to the emerald pool, boy, where the water is refreshing and cool, boy. You can search and you can try, but I bet you'll never find another island so sweet and so fair.
Welcome to my island, baby.
Beautiful and green, yeah.
Welcome to my island, baby.
Well, this a dream.
Welcome to my island, baby.
Beautiful and green, yeah.
Welcome to my island, baby.
Bad company corrupts good morals. Quizá aquí black, quizá aquí no es mesa aquí net. Pero tu aquí campo con net, usa con net. Se gosta la te we play Messi body. Saio seu eu pé no tapê. Léo te vai o nome, o te sabe te o nome. Léo te vai o fam, o te sabe te o fam. Léo te vai o chien, o te sabe te o chien. Oi, fais ma ouais o chat, o cama de sair mené. Marcher à la suite, garder tout franc, garder derrière. Les soleils levés, que les jours badinent moins. Ou pas connaître, ça qui va, qui nous est, mais ça qui fait. Faire tout voir qui cap reconnaître, ou connaître. C'est comme ça, la terre oui merci, God. Ça y est, c'est où fait nous taper. Là où on est en tas, comme mettez ces coups, ouais, pour me. Mais les bottes, ça finit. Bandi aye ou bandi famille. Ou qu'à travailler, pour tout ça, on y oui. Yo fait jalousie, car yo vidéo là tout soumis. Aye pour marcher, mais yo ni zang, yo ni jivé. Quand fait cabane là, c'est comme ça, y caille rester. Ou pas connaître, ça qui plat, ça qui n'est, mais ça qui fait. Faire tout voir qui cap reconnaître, ou connaître. C'est comme ça, la terre y fait, merci, body. Ça y est, c'est où on fait nous taper. Shorty, tout bagaille c'est money. Pani la vie, c'est ça yo ka kwe. Yo fini, après des coups bénis. Comme si la terre finie, vous baissez aussi ou les avant, ça passe, ça passe. J'en dis jour, quoi mon yo caché. À présent, gardez ça passer. Ça qui ça, non c'est ça va. Pas connaître, pas connaître, pas connaître, pas connaître, pas connaître, pas connaître.
Beauty Orchestra, Upa, Cornet, Mel and company. Before them you heard Breathe with Welcome to My Island, Dominica, that is 13B45. You need to know this. Take the online electoral reform survey before the deadline for responses on Wednesday 9th June. Alright, so the deadline for responses for the online electoral reform survey is Wednesday, June 9. That's this Wednesday. The survey can be filled out at www.electoraloffice.gov.dm. That's www.electoraloffice.gov.dm.
Damn, say you good.
Hurt them dude. Baby, I miss you. This distance killing me. I know we need to fix this urgently. We need a place to live in harmony. Cause there's nothing better than time with you. I know bless. We can be one under the sun. I know bless. That to make your stresses run. Go. And if they say happiness is the measure of success, then baby trust me, I know just where we should be. And that is Dominica, Nica, 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 Nica. Where I can take you down to the river, 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 river. We could be sipping on island rum, bathing in island sun, chipping to island drums. Baby, that's a happy place, happy place. Oh, Dominica, Nica, 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 Nica. Where I can take you down to the river, 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 river. We could be sipping on island rum, bathing in island sun, chipping to island drums. What a happy place, happy place. Baby, I want you to call this place your own and our kids too. This will be their home and I can bet you this is set in stone. That I'll spend the rest of my life with you. I know bless where our future can be drawn. I know bless where our two can become one. Oh, and if they say happiness is the measure of success, then baby trust me, I know just where we should be. And that is Dominica, Nica, 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 Nica. Where I could take you down to the river, 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 river. We could be sipping on island rum, bathing in island sun, chipping to island drums. Baby, that's a happy place, happy place. Oh, Dominica, Nica, 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 Nica. Where I could take you down to the river, 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 river. We could be sipping on island rum, bathing in island sun, chipping to island drums. What a happy place, happy place. No pressure, no. Take all your time to make up your mind. No pressure, no. You're taking your time, just sit and imagine. Ha 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 ha. Happy are we? Me and my baby in a sweet country. What a happy place. What a happy place.
I say hold that waist, he say holy time. Give a little taste of a true waistline. And nobody know why I stuck on the boy like glue. And I want to leave you stun blue. Tell them call the doctor for you. Cause it's a system failure, cardiac arrest. There's a system failure. He feeling in your chest. He breathe in, he breathe out. When my fat girl come up, cause it's a system failure. Oh, you're running out of time. Of time, you're running out of time. Oh, of time, you're running out of time. Of time, you're running out of time. Oh, just hold on and you'll be fine. Falling error, error.
here. True? Alright. I really like you, baby. I love your company. Love the way you move it. Yeah. When you whine on me. I love the way your body move. Love how you dip it in the groove. I love the way you whine and the way you grind. Slow down and take your time. Don't know and go shake, go shake, go shake, go shake, go shake. Come whine on me and hule, 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 hule. Come shake it, baby. I don't know, I do whatever you want. We dance together. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. See the way you're whining right now? Yeah, my mind going crazy good. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, body was M.O.D. Hope you remember me when we used to go shake, go shake, go shake, go shake, go shake. Come whine on me and hule, 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 hule. Come shake it, baby. Sukwe, 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 sukwe. But the body nice together. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. Hey girl, yeah, the vibe's nice. I like that one. The mood right, forget everybody else. Yeah, I like that one. We dress, we check, we lie. It's just me and you. I don't know why you can't do it that, you know. Just like one time. Two times. Third thing. The way you whining on me. The way you whining on me. The way you whining on me. You fulfill my fantasy. The way you whine, the way you whine, the way you whine, the way you whine, the way you whine on me. The way you whine, the way you whine, the way you whine, the way you whine on me. Go shake, go shake, go shake, go shake, go shake. Come whine on me and hule, 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 hule. Come shake it, baby. Sukwe, 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 sukwe. We'll dance together. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. Easy. Rock shirt. Excess groove.
All right, that's the man Daddy Miller and the Excess Groove. They have something new coming out, you know, so you got to look out for that. It's 4 minutes before 5. We are standing by for the results of this afternoon's reading competition. Competition number 3 from Portsmouth. The guys up there at the Roosevelt Douglas Primary. All right, again, we say hello and good afternoon to the parents, teachers, the judges, the DBS team up there on the north, and the good boys and girls representing their various schools along the north and northwest of the island. You know, Mighty Kubuli Monday, strictly 767.
La vie c'est beau doudou Capopé en société Mais joua que oui bé Là où on entend tout ça ou fait Ou peut que ça c'est vrai notre méchanceté Parce que tout je fais mal Allez qui joue, yeah!
C'est gros chant, c'est gros bougla C'est gros sayoye, pas de respect Rien yo kalaje bambale way La Guadeloupe, la Martinique Et si en Dominique Trinidad, Jamaica, ici New York City Oui
Pas qu'un ne combat jamais Yo qui pour tout ça on est foutu en la vie Là yo business ça on est Yo got nothing loud
Oh, Palmer Charles, not easy with that comment there, boy. A little patience, eh? Way on.
Dans les autres cas, ouais, misère, à toi, ou en border. pas mêler et fait ça qui pas de chasse. Mais chaque monde n'y joue yo. Toujours pas mettre, pas jamais faire. Donc toujours pitié, yo yon go. So comme j'ai fait mes offices, mais toujours. Alors me dit yo, pas qu'un n'est pas jamais. Yo qui pas tout ça, on est foutu en la vie. Now your business sounding, you got to be loud. Get up beside your bed, up the hell out with it. Now go to good FM, and I'll go pay your peace for them. Toujours promettre, pas jamais faire. Donc toujours pitié, yon go.
Après ça c'est tous par les mics là. C'est gros pour classer comme ça yo yé. Depuis yo ni on dit là je yo c'est mettre pour J. Et même moi tous quand yo la vérité. Là je sais pas tout c'est comme ça yé. Les gens sont baisés malés oui pour aider. Maman Africa quand y'a des hommes sont pas mêlés. Pour le tout ça quand on dit pour qu'ils sont calés. Pour pour ou mais avec à chiller. Regardez qui position ça va nous déjorder. Et ben dis yo machine parce que nous pas qu'à jouer.
Toujours promettre, pas jamais faire. Donc toujours pitié, yon go. Toujours bleu, toute bagaille pour yo. Amène ça qui vit, amène ça qui bon.
Moscou, toute la Wallée, Bagdad, Gaza yo café. Malheureux qu'a point faire, malheureux qu'a souffert. Ni manger ni boire, ou pas qu'à
La Martinique, c'est même bagaille. La Guadeloupe, c'est même bagaille. Dominique, c'est même bagaille. New York City, c'est même bagaille. Moscou, c'est même bagaille. Africa, c'est même bagaille. Alors, c'est même bagaille. Saint-Martin, c'est même bagaille. Haïti.
Alright, so we're reading off the DBS YouTube page here on the reading competition. Jeffro says, I am Haley's classmate. Tell her I'm amazed by her. In case you're wondering, this is the sound of DBS White Kabuli Monday. We do it strictly local, 767 representing for the Nature Isle Dominica. We are standing by for today's results of the DBS Radio Ministry of Education National Reading Competition from the Roosevelt Douglas Primary in Portsmouth. In the meantime, here's Alicia. Sing! That's a girl Alicia, formerly of Serenade. Siwo, big shout out to Workers. Take the online electoral reform survey before the deadline for responses on Wednesday, 9th June. The survey can be filled out at www.electoraloffice.gov.dm. That's www.electoraloffice.gov.dm. All right, let's do this one time, and let's do this one time. Let's go. Hold on, get anything from the top, my youth. Let's go again. Hold on, Jewel says thank you DBS Radio for having this live. Love to hear the students reading. Genia Andrew says very good to all. Practice good and you will be successful. All right.
Hey girl, you don't need no man to
Yes, Colty.
press your button.
Tell them.
You don't need no man that can walk with you. You don't need no man just to eat your mutton. Yes, you need a man like who, yeah. You don't need no man to pay your bills, girl. You don't need no man that can respect you. You don't need no man just to eat your shrimps, girl. Yes, you need a man like who, girl, you best believe it, that I'm the man for you, yeah. You don't need no other. You don't need no. You don't need no other. You don't need no. Girl, you best believe it, I'm the man for you. You don't need no other. You don't need no. You don't need no other. You don't need no. Hey, I could be a man and know you got my knee, girl. I could be a boo and you could be my girl. You understand me, I understand you. We live in happy, don't even argue. I could be a man and you could be my world. If he trash you, then girl, I'll treasure you. And if you don't want it, it would be my pleasure to come for you. So you best believe it, I'm the man for you, girl. You don't need no other. You don't need no. You don't need no other. You don't need no. Best believe it, I'm the man for you, girl. You don't need no other. You don't need no. You don't need no other. You don't need no. Best believe it, girl. I'm the only man for. Best believe it, girl. I'm the only girl, you best believe it, that I'm the man for you, yeah. You don't need no other. You don't need no. You don't need no other. You don't need no.
No matter what you do, you can never please people. Never, ever. No matter how you try, they will never satisfy. Never, ever. So this year I'm pleasing myself. I'm pleasing and nobody else. I'm pleasing myself. I'm pleasing and nobody else.
Yes, yes. Hey God, if you can hear me, give me a dip in the music, please.
I'm pleasing and nobody else. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Give them bug and they want cat.
All right, students, please take your seats. The results we have.
Give them peace and they want rice. Give them cup and they want ice. Give them proof and they want rice. You do it once, they want it twice. No matter what you do, you can never please people. Never, ever. No matter how you try, they will never satisfy.
Yes, yes.
Never, ever. So this year I'm pleasing myself. I'm pleasing and nobody else. 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 I'm amazing.
Amazing, says Asa. Amazing are the students, and at this time we rejoin me, Joseph Dennis, the master of ceremonies for this afternoon's reading competition.
Thank you so much, Dr. Labedi, and thank you for those of you who are tuned in via Facebook and YouTube. Those of you listening via DBS Radio, thank you for staying tuned. This is day 3 of the first round of the competition at DBS Radio, Ministry of Education National Reading Competition. The results we have. What we will do at this time, we'll go to our head judge to give us some remarks as to how they felt this competition was here this afternoon. So we'll know. I will pass the microphone across to Mr. Prince Saint Jean as they'll give us the judges' remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the judges and myself, I must commend all of the students for a job well done. I also commend the schools, the teachers, your coaches, all who prepared you for today's event. Your parents as well, because they too have a part in your reading development. A few notes that we looked at would be your punctuation. Punctuation remains one of the key problems with reading competition over the years. I've seen that. And you tend to exclaim when you should be asking a question when you should be toning down when you meet a full stop, or you're even toning up when you meet a comma. So that was our main issue with you today. Some of you added words, some of you left out words or even lines, but we know that, but the parents and those listening over the radio would not know because they do not have a script. So we had the script and we followed you as you went along. But generally, great performance. Continue to read. It doesn't end here. And to those who move on to the next round, we say congratulations and keep on reading. Reading takes you far.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Saint Jean. All right, remember, this is just the first round. We'll be selecting, after the first round is over, we'll select 30. However, the judges have decided who the top 5 readers are for this afternoon. When I call your name, please stand. Those of you whose name will not be called, please not be discouraged. You all were great. We encourage you to continue reading, and I have spoken to each and every one of you who have a passion for reading. This is only the beginning. Please keep on reading. As they say, we are all winners, no matter who emerges number 1, but we are all winners, all right? Okay, so keep on reading. And again, we cannot even tell you because, like we said, the top 30 will be selected. So there's a chance, even if you were not in the top 5 here today, you could still advance to the next round. We're just choosing based on scores. So overall, top 30, we will select. However, the top 5 readers for this afternoon, I'll go from the 5th position with 326 points from the Roosevelt Douglas Primary School, Adele Leighton. In 4th position with 368 points from the Southern Pie Primary, Diva Gross. In the 3rd position with 391 points from the St. John's Primary School, Tiara George. In 2nd position with 432 points from the Dublin Primary School, Kelani Stowe. And our top reader for this afternoon from the Salisbury Primary School, Haley Bedno. So these are our top 5 readers for this afternoon. We want to encourage you once again to keep on reading, and we will see you all, and I'm saying all, in the next round. I want to again thank those of you who stayed with us via Facebook and YouTube, also via DBS Radio. It was a pleasure being with you on this broadcast. Let me just commend the DBS sales team for joining us here this afternoon, Ms. Shammer and Mr. Venel. Our traffic officer, Ms. Williams, thank you for gracing us with your presence here. We want to thank our coordinator, Ms. Kimara Ito, with her assistant, Ms. Annadale Jacobs, our lead technician on duty, Mr. Dean Thomas, our media personnel, Media and Packets. I also want to thank Mr. James Rodney for being our brand master here, and Mr. Marcus Emmanuel for being our cameraman. I am Amelia Joseph Dennis. It's now time to say bye-bye from the Roosevelt Douglas Primary School.